The Hellenistic period, spanning from the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BCE to the rise of the Roman Empire in the 1st century BCE, was marked by significant military innovations. These innovations were a response to the changing nature of warfare during this time, driven by the need to maintain large multicultural empires and defend vast territories. The armies of the Hellenistic world were highly influential, and their innovations left a lasting impact on military tactics, organization, and technology. This article explores the key military innovations of the Hellenistic armies, focusing on infantry, cavalry, siege warfare, and the organizational structure of these forces. 1. The phalanx and infantry innovations. The Macedonian phalanx, which had been pioneered by Philip II and perfected by his son Alexander the Great, was one of the most significant military innovations of the Hellenistic period. The phalanx was a dense formation of infantrymen armed with long spears, known as sarissas, which were approximately 18 to 20 feet in length, significantly longer than the traditional spears dory used by earlier Greek hoplites. The use of these extended pikes allowed the phalanx to maintain a defensive shield wall while simultaneously presenting a formidable offensive threat with their spear points. The Hellenistic armies made several modifications to the traditional phalanx formation. For example, the adoption of deeper formations, sometimes up to 16 ranks deep, allowed for more concentrated force and better protection for soldiers. However, the increasing depth of the phalanx also introduced weaknesses, as it was difficult to maneuver such large formations in battle. The solution to this problem came with the development of flexible phalanx formations, which could be adjusted on the battlefield to meet different challenges, providing better maneuverability while maintaining the core of the traditional pike formation. In addition to the pike phalanx, other infantry units were developed. The Hellenistic armies made use of lighter infantry, including archers, slingers, and peltasts, lightly armed javelin throwers. These units provided essential support to the heavier infantry by harassing enemy lines from a distance, protecting flanks, and disrupting formations. The importance of skirmishers in Hellenistic armies grew significantly, as commanders recognized that diverse unit types were crucial in winning battles. 2. Cavalry innovations. Cavalry played a crucial role in the armies of the Hellenistic period, building on the success of Alexander's cavalry during his conquests. One of the most important innovations was the development of the heavy cavalry unit known as the cataphracts. The cataphracts were heavily armored cavalrymen, fully encased in metal or leather armor, including the horses. Their primary role was to break enemy lines and disrupt infantry formations. They were heavily used by the Seleucid and Parthian armies, among others, and became a symbol of power in the Hellenistic military system. Another important cavalry innovation was the companion cavalry, which was originally an elite unit in Alexander's army. After his death, various Hellenistic kingdoms, particularly the Ptolemies in Egypt, sought to replicate the success of this cavalry force. These cavalry units were often equipped with lighter armor and highly trained to engage in fast, decisive charges that could exploit weaknesses in enemy formations. They were often used in coordination with the phalanx, attacking the enemy's flanks and providing tactical flexibility. The use of mounted archers also became a more prominent feature of Hellenistic warfare. These archers, especially those from the eastern provinces, were highly effective in harassing enemy troops, disrupting formations, and providing intelligence. The ability to shoot arrows while on horseback gave them a significant advantage over infantry and traditional cavalry. Siege warfare innovations. The Hellenistic period was also characterized by significant advancements in siege warfare. As the Hellenistic kingdoms expanded their territories and faced fortified cities and strongholds, the need for improved siege tactics and equipment became apparent. One of the most notable innovations in siege warfare was the development of siege towers, which were large wooden structures on wheels, designed to protect assaulting troops as they approached a city's walls. These towers allowed soldiers to scale walls and launch attacks on defenders with reduced risk. Another key development was the use of battering rams, which had been used in earlier periods but were greatly improved during the Hellenistic era. These rams were larger and more powerful, often mounted on wheels and designed to break down the massive gates of enemy fortifications. The Hellenistic armies also developed more advanced siege engines, such as ballistae, large crossbows, and onagers, a type of catapult, which were used to hurl large stones or projectiles at enemy fortifications or troops. These siege engines were used to both breach walls and inflict damage on enemy formations during prolonged sieges. One of the most famous practitioners of siege warfare during the Hellenistic period was Demetrius I of Macedon, who employed various siege tactics during his campaigns in the early 3rd century BCE. His use of siege towers, battering rams, and other machines became legendary, and his innovations in siege warfare had a lasting influence on the development of military engineering. Number 4. Naval innovations. The Hellenistic period also saw significant advancements in naval warfare, particularly in the fleets of the Ptolemaic Kingdom in Egypt and the Seleucid Empire. The use of large warships known as quadriremes and quinquiremes, ships with 4 and 5 banks of rowers respectively, became more widespread. These massive vessels were capable of carrying large numbers of soldiers, as well as a variety of offensive weapons, including catapults, archers, and marines. The naval tactics of the time emphasized the use of powerful ramming attacks, as well as missile fire to break enemy lines. Another important innovation was the development of the Hellenistic naval siege, which involved the use of ships equipped with siege weapons to attack enemy coastal fortifications. The use of fire ships, ships filled with combustible materials and set ablaze to destroy enemy vessels, also became a tactic in naval warfare. 5. Organization and logistics. The Hellenistic armies were among the first to develop more complex organizational structures that allowed for greater coordination and logistics in large-scale military campaigns. One of the most important innovations was the creation of professional standing armies. Unlike earlier periods where soldiers were often conscripts or part-time warriors, the Hellenistic armies consisted of professional soldiers who were paid regularly and trained for specific roles. This professionalization allowed commanders to maintain larger, more disciplined forces. Logistics also played a critical role in the success of Hellenistic armies. The vast size of the territories they controlled meant that armies needed to be supplied efficiently across long distances. The Hellenistic kingdoms developed sophisticated systems of supply trains, including the use of specialized transport animals such as camels, which could carry supplies over difficult terrain. Military roads were constructed, and local populations were often required to provide support to the armies as they moved across territories. Strategic and tactical innovations. The Hellenistic period saw the development of more complex battle tactics. For example, flexible battlefield formations became common, where commanders would adjust their tactics based on the situation. One of the most famous examples of this is the use of the hammer and anvil tactic, which involved a heavy center force, the anvil, engaging the enemy while cavalry or light infantry on the flanks, the hammer, attacked the enemy's vulnerable sides. The Hellenistic armies also placed greater emphasis on combined arms tactics, integrating infantry, cavalry, and missile troops into a more cohesive fighting force. This allowed commanders to use different types of units in a way that maximized their effectiveness and exploited enemy weaknesses. The military innovations of the Hellenistic armies were a product of the changing nature of warfare during this period. With the vast empires established by Alexander the Great, the armies of the Hellenistic world faced new challenges in terms of logistics, tactics, and technology. The introduction of powerful infantry formations like the phalanx, the development of advanced cavalry units, innovations in siege warfare, and the creation of professional standing armies helped shape the military landscape for centuries to come. These innovations not only influenced the tactics of later civilizations, including the Roman Empire, but also left a lasting legacy in the history of warfare.